scientists discovered that one thing determines whether your child grows up confident or broken. There was a study done on two groups of babies. Both groups had loving mothers. Both groups were fed, clothed, cared for. One group grew up to be confident, emotionally stable, academically successful adults. The other group struggled with anxiety, with relationships, with identity. The researchers looked at every variable: income, neighborhood, school quality, nutrition, and in the end, there was only one factor that consistently explained the difference: the father. And most fathers are getting it wrong right now, without even knowing it. And the worst part? The window to get this right is smaller than you think, because the science shows that the most critical period in your child's entire development isn't teenage years. It isn't even age 5. It's right now. The first 3 years of life. And what a father does, or doesn't do, in those 3 years shapes everything. Their confidence, their emotional health, their ability to love, their future relationships, their success, their identity, all of it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what your baby needs from you, backed by neuroscience and decades of research. Not what society tells you, not what your own father modeled, what the science actually says. And some of it will completely surprise you. Let's start with something that should stop every father cold. The human brain at birth is only 25% developed. 25%. The other 75% builds itself after the baby is born, and the majority of that critical building happens in the first 3 years of life. During those 3 years, a baby's brain forms over 1 million new neural connections every single second. Not every hour, not every day. Every single second. Now here's the part that changes everything. Those connections aren't random. They're built in response to the environment around the baby, the faces they see, the voices they hear, the touch they feel, the emotions they witness, which means the people in that environment are literally architects of that child's brain. A 2019 longitudinal study from Cambridge University, one of the most comprehensive of its kind, tracked children from infancy into their teenage years. The researchers found that babies with present, engaged fathers in the first 12 months of life showed measurably higher scores in cognitive development, language acquisition, problem-solving ability, and emotional regulation, all the way into adolescence. Not because these fathers did anything extraordinary. They talked to their babies. They held them. They got on the floor and played. But they were there, and their presence was literally shaping the architecture of another human being's mind. That is not a metaphor. That is biology. Here's something that will completely change how you think about talking to your baby. By week 28 in the womb, that's the 3rd trimester, a baby's ears are fully formed and operational. They are listening, not just to white noise, to voices, to specific frequencies, to rhythm, tone, and emotional inflection. Researchers at the University of North Carolina found that fetuses as young as 28 weeks show measurable heart rate changes in response to familiar voices. They're not just hearing, they're learning. So when your baby is born and hears your voice for the first time, it isn't unfamiliar. It's the voice they've been mapping for months. And that familiarity has a biological effect. A study published in the Journal of the Acoustical Society of America showed that newborns exposed to their father's voice experienced a drop in cortisol, that's the stress hormone, and a measurable stabilization in heart rate. Your voice is not just comfort. Your voice is a biological anchor for your baby's nervous system. Every time you talk to your baby, even in the middle of the night, even when you feel ridiculous talking to someone who can't talk back, you are reducing their stress response. You are regulating their nervous system. You are teaching their body that this world is safe. Talk to your baby. Even when it feels pointless, it is the opposite of pointless. This is the finding most people push back on. For decades, parenting culture has told fathers, be gentler, be calmer, play softer, be more like mom. And while that advice came from a good place, it missed something fundamental. Dads and moms play differently, and that difference is not a mistake of culture, it is a feature of biology. Fathers across virtually every culture ever studied tend toward what developmental psychologists call rough-and-tumble play. Tossing, chasing, wrestling, tickling to the edge, unpredictability, physical surprise. Mothers tend toward nurturing, language-focused play. Calm, steady, emotionally warm. Both are essential, but here's what the rough play actually does that the calm play cannot. Dr. Anthony Pellegrini at the University of Minnesota spent over 2 decades studying physical play patterns in children. His findings? Children who engage in regular rough-and-tumble play with their fathers develop significantly stronger emotional self-regulation. What does that mean in plain terms? It means the child learns, I can be overwhelmed and survive it. I can feel out of control and find my way back. I can be scared and discover I'm okay. That is not a minor skill. That is one of the most critical psychological capacities a human being can develop. The ability to self-regulate under stress predicts academic success. It predicts relationship stability. It predicts mental health outcomes across a lifetime. And it gets trained on a living room floor when dad tosses a giggling baby into the air. The messiness is the lesson. The edge of chaos is the classroom. This one will make you rethink everything you assumed about what babies learn and from whom. When a baby encounters something new, a strange sound, an unfamiliar face, a dark room, there's a very specific behavior that happens. It's called social referencing. The baby looks at the caregiver's face first. They're asking a silent question. Is this safe? Should I be scared? Can I explore? And here's where it gets fascinating. Babies reference mom first for protection signals. They reference dad for exploration signals. This is not a stereotype. This was documented in a landmark study at the University of Notre Dame by Dr. Ross Park, one of the leading researchers in father-child attachment. When mom looked worried, babies retreated. When dad looked confident and curious, babies advanced. Dad's emotional expression was the green light for the baby to be brave, and the effect wasn't small. Babies with engaged, present fathers were measurably more comfortable with strangers, more willing to approach new environments, less reactive to unfamiliar stimuli. Dr. Michael Lamb, a developmental psychologist at Cambridge, who has spent 40 years specifically studying father-child relationships, put it this way. Fathers function as a bridge between the baby's safe inner world and the wider, unpredictable external world. Mom builds the home base. Dad teaches the baby to leave it. Both are necessary. Neither is optional. We can't talk about what babies need from their fathers without confronting what happens when they don't get it. This is uncomfortable data, but it needs to be heard. Researchers at Princeton and Columbia universities analyzed data across more than 20,000 children over a 20-year period. The results were not subtle. Children raised without an engaged father were twice as likely to drop out of school, 4 times more likely to grow up in poverty, 7 times more likely to experience teen pregnancy, significantly more likely to develop anxiety disorders, depression, and substance use problems in adulthood. And this wasn't isolated to low-income families. The effect held across income levels, races, and educational backgrounds. An absent or disengaged father is one of the single strongest predictors of poor life outcomes for a child. Now, this is not about blame. If you're watching this and you grew up without a father, this is not an indictment of you. You are living proof that people overcome. But if you are a father, or about to become one, these numbers aren't just statistics. They're a mirror. They're showing you exactly what's at stake in the choices you make every single day. Think about the most secure person you know, the one who walks into a room and doesn't need anyone's approval, who handles pressure without cracking, who loves deeply without fear. Ask them about their childhood. Most of the time, somewhere in that story, there is a father who showed up. Not perfectly, A father who made mistakes, had flaws, didn't always say the right thing, but who was present, who chose to stay. Now think about the people you know who seem to be constantly searching for validation, for belonging, for someone to finally say, "You're enough." Their story is usually different. And here's what the research says. The father-child relationship is the primary template a child uses to understand, am I worthy of love? Is the world safe enough to explore? Can I trust other people? These aren't small questions. These are the questions that run underneath every relationship, every career decision, every moment of courage or cowardice for the rest of that child's life. And they start forming before the baby can sit up. Here is the thing that should permanently change how you see your role as a father. For decades, society positioned the mother as the essential parent, and the father as the helpful extra, the breadwinner, the backup, the one who steps in when mom needs a break. That framing did enormous damage. Because what the science actually shows is that a father is not a supporting character in a child's development. A father is a separate developmental force. Not more important than the mother, not less important, different. And what makes a father irreplaceable, what no one else can fully substitute, is the specific kind of challenge, adventure, bravery, and unconditional confidence that a father provides. Your baby will not remember the stroller you bought. They will not remember the nursery you painted, or the brand of formula, or whether their clothes matched. But their brain is recording everything else. The weight of your hands when you hold them, the sound of your laugh in a quiet house, the way your face looked when they did something new and you were watching. They will not remember these moments as memories. They will carry them as a feeling, a felt sense of, I was wanted, I was safe. There was someone whose whole face changed just because I walked into the room. That feeling, that early, wordless, bone-deep knowing becomes the foundation of everything. Their confidence, their relationships, their ability to love and be loved, their willingness to take risks, their capacity to survive hard things. It all starts here. It all starts with you. Not the version of you that has everything figured out, not the version that never makes mistakes, the version that shows up on ordinary days, on hard days, on the days when nothing is special, and that's exactly why it matters. You are not just raising a child. You are becoming someone's first proof that they are worth showing up for. Make sure they find that proof every single day.